So let's explore A Stronger Nation, where you can find at strongernation.luminafoundation.org. For those of you who have used Stronger Nation in the past, this is going to look different, but I promise you, all the data you're used to seeing will also be here, and we'll get to that in just a second. So when you first open the site, you're going to see the Credentials of Value goal. And as we go through here, we're starting with the United States, which you can see here at the top, and the national benchmark is already at the top, the 44.1%. So let's scroll down and take a look. The next thing we're going to come to is all of the states. We're starting with the US, but you can click any one of these states and get the data for that state. We're here in Minnesota. If I click on this, you can see the data change for Minnesota, and they're at a 50.7% Credentials of Value. They're ranked number 3 in the US, and you can see that almost 45% of the credentials come from degrees, while 5.8% come from short-term credentials. Again, I can click on any state and get data for that state. But let's go back to the United States. I can click here, or I can go to the top and click the United States here. The next thing we're going to come is another version of the states. Again, as I scroll over any of these, you can see the data for that state. But let's explore the state Credentials of Value. And I can do that over here on this, on the right-hand side. As I click that, now I can look at past years. So the 2023 data are the most recent data, but I can go back and look at the 2021 data and the 2022 data. So let's keep going. To get out of these explore modes, you just hit back. And now I'm back on the main page. And as I explore down, I have this bubble chart where I can see where any state I'm highlighting, let's highlight Texas, you can see where Texas falls amongst all of the states on this bar. So now we're coming to education types. And this one's a little bit different because this is within any education type, any credential. We know what percentage of people with that credential meet our benchmark, our Credentials of Value benchmark. So here in the United States, we can see that 54.7% of people that have an associate's degree meet that 15% benchmark. Again, we have that for short-term credentials, bachelor's, and graduate degree. And I can do that for any state. So let's look at Colorado, and the data will come up for Colorado. I'm going to go back to the United States, and then let's do some exploring. So again, come over here and explore education types, and this is where it gets interesting, some fun things we can do. I can expand these categories, and when I expand these categories, you're going to see immediately that different types of graduate degrees pop up, and I can look at each of the short-term credentials. I can scale this by population, I can select year, and I can sort it in different ways, by credential type, by number of people. So I can see how many people have these, and it sorts that ways. So in a number of different ways. So after we see that, we see demographics, and you're going to first see by age, 10-year increments of each age. Each of these bubbles represents a state, but I can explore demographics and get even more data. And I can select by year, I can look at age group, I can look at gender, and I can look at race ethnicity. To look at the data disaggregated by race, ethnicity, age, or gender for the economic prosperity, for the Credentials of Value data. I can turn chart tips on at any point and get some information about what I'm actually seeing. And the last thing on this page is exploring race ethnicity a little bit more. And again, this is a really interesting thing, so I want to point this out. Again, I have the same data that I saw before with race ethnicity. This is also disaggregated by gender. But if I want to explore race and gender here, I explore this and I can get a deeper dive into any one of the race ethnicities. So looking here, if I want to do this by subpopulation, and let's say I want to look at the Hispanic population. If I click this, Hispanic, then you can see all the different subpopulations within the Hispanic category. Bolivian, Cuban, Dominican, any of these. And as I promised you in the beginning, the educational attainment data you've always been using is still here. And to get there, all I have to do is click on this educational and attainment button, and you'll see the data you're used to seeing, the educational attainment data, the people that have these credentials after high school. And I want you to pay attention to one thing that we've added this year, download image. At any point, I can click on this and download the image. I can also, up here on the right, copy this link and send it to someone. And Even more exciting, if I want to share this page, I can click on here, and when I click on there, Facebook or X or LinkedIn will open, and I can immediately add this link to one of my social media pages.